Unanimous, Gail.
I'll make a motion that we accept the resignation of Ms. Schubert.
Second.
During the discussion phase, I would just like to point out that my daughter Catherine is getting married in Florida. So she has chosen to get ready for her wedding and all the preparations, and in fact is flying down there this weekend. And she wanted to thank everyone for the opportunity to serve. So, but she's actually moving out of state. So
To Florida?
she's going to be down in Florida for a little bit, and then they're actually going to settle near Frederick, right here in Maryland. So.
Well, thank you to her for her service.
Absolutely.
So we have to vote. We already did that. No, we only
That was
did the other
discussion.
one. Okay, all in favor of approving the resignation, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous, Gal. And thank you to Catherine for her service.
Are there 31 days in August?
That's a random question. Sorry. I'm getting giddy.
Over 30 days.
Do you use the knuckle? I'll show you that on the internet. Yes, and I'm assuming that the recommendation of proceeding is to let the public know that there's a vacancy and for them to submit a letter of interest to us with whatever information they feel pertinent to
Yes.
the proceedings. And so that would be in your agenda for next month.
So for the benefit of all who may be watching, we are looking for someone to serve as Borough Council member for the remainder of Catherine Schubert's position on the council that she has just vacated and we've approved, that runs through the meeting in December of this year. So anybody interested, please send us a letter with your qualifications and why you want to be on the council. Okay, fire tax distribution discussion.
I don't need to regurgitate what's in the memo. You can see what I wrote there. For several years, admittedly, the chief has been bugging me about this percentage issue, and I have kind of tried to satisfy him with some explanations on why we use the formula that we use, but my understanding that it has not been found as satisfactory. So tonight, the question to you all is, are you willing and able to take a look at the way we do the distribution of that money to make sure that you all agree that it's a fair and equitable equation?
I believe that we should have a committee of 3 that can be available to meet during the day, because we're going to be relying on information from staff. So I suggest that the President Pro Tem, Vice President, and President be the 3 members of that committee. And then we get started as soon as possible. So no offense to others who work during the day.
You got boss, just me.
Well, Cody does. Cody works.
Sorry, Cody.
What the heck?
Everybody else is retired but us.
So what happens if we do the math on this and finds out that it should be 65-35?
Chips are gonna fall where they may.
That's what
I mean, the advice of the buffalo, let the chips fall where they may.
Got that. I'm slow. Pictured it.
Yes.
No.
I think that's a by
He ain't gonna
consensus.
show up.
Thank you.
The error.
So that group of
Be
those
Mike,
three folks will.
Bruce.
Hello again, sports fans. Stinky cheese or smooth solo voyage. I'm here solo, and Corey Smith on assignment out in Carroll Valley. So, will it be a Limburger or a Lindbergh, a smooth solo flight? We'll see, but I plan to give a call out. I've done this in the past. My cousin Jack lives in North Carolina, and I'm going to call out tonight Rick Goslin, a gentleman from, I think currently he lives in Dallas, but an eminent sports writer. He's written books. He writes for the Dallas Herald. He's enshrined in the writers' wing of the NFL Football Hall of Fame. He has a book coming out about the 1960s Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm going to just say, hey, okay, was that the age of Len Dawson and Willie Lanier and Buck Buchanan? I think that's when it was. So if you're older than 60, you might have some idea what I'm talking about. But that's a long time ago. Some of those guys are Hall of Famers. I look forward to talking to Rick. I actually met him at O'Rourke's while dining one evening, and we exchanged information, and I said, hey, would you be willing to come on Sports Chat? And there's no better time, since right now I'm without Corey Smith, my sidekick, and like I said, he's on assignment. So Jordan, a special shout out to Jordan, because I know the first item of housekeeping you want me to cover is the ET, ejection tracker. A week ago it was 144, drum roll. Now it's 153 ejections in Major League Baseball. Or is it 154? We'll have to wait until Corey returns, hopefully next week, and get clarity on that issue. But thank you, Jordan. We talk about hottest seat in sports, shining star. Corey always has great choices, and I just kind of wait till the last minute and see what I can come up with. So hottest seat in sports. I'm going with these teams that are in danger of folding and falling out of the playoffs. Teams like the Mets, the Mariners, the Astros, the Royals. All of a sudden, the Cardinals and the Guardians are like back in it. I guess that's the beauty of this three wild card format, because so many teams are still mathematically alive. You know, even if you're 4 out with 18 to play, 17 to play, that's not out of the realm by any means. Believe me, I've seen the Phillies, I've talked about this before, lose 10 in a row. They had a 6.5 game lead with 12 to play, lost 10 in a row and ended 1 game out. Chico Ruiz stealing home the final straw that broke the Phillies' back. And then they turned the tables against the Mets. I think it was in 1997. It might have been later than that. Jay Roll in his prime, Chase Utley in his prime, the big piece Ryan Howard in his prime, and they got it done that year. So I'm looking forward to tonight's game. The Phillies play the Mets. Bryce Harper's leading off because Trey Turner is on the injured list. It's only a 10-day list right now. Alec Boehm there too. He's been hit by pitches a couple times. I'm not sure what his current issue is, but somehow the Phillies soldier on. So anyway, I had those teams as hottest seat in sports. Phillies tonight. I like Ranger Suarez, the way he's been pitching lately. He and Christopher Sanchez, very similar styles, great changeups, lefties, crafty, use the whole strike zone. So, you know, it's become exciting. Without Zach Wheeler, there's a lot of uncertainty, but people have really stepped up, and they picked up Buehler, Walker Buehler. We'll see what he can do. I don't think he's pitched yet for the Phillies. Maybe he had an assignment at AAA. Maybe he got shelled. I don't know, but I haven't heard his name mentioned lately. So we'll see how the Phillies do. Last night, a brilliant 1-0 win over the Mets. Nick Castellanos, who hasn't been playing a lot, got the only ribby of the night, single early in the game, and Aaron Nola's 6 shutout innings, so the Phillies really needed that. They got great work from the bullpen. Robertson, a great signing, always crafty, but still throws 93 or 94. Matt Strom, and then Duran, Johan Duran, second and third, 1 out, tying run, go-ahead run on base, and he strikes out the last 2 guys to get his, 28th save. I mean, most of them are with the Twins, but he and Harrison Bader, brilliant pickups at the trading deadline. At least they look that way right now. All right, so there's always plenty of room on the hot seat. I'm putting Jerry Jones on the hot seat because he traded away Micah Parsons, our local Harrisburg product, one of the top players in the league, making now about $40 million a year. But Jerry Jones, I don't know, and that's a question with Rick Goslin being in Dallas. I want to ask him about Jerry Jones and what the reaction was, because not only is he the owner, he is the general manager. And then the shining stars. We like to emphasize the positive. New Oxford won again. They're 3-0. Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdown passes, as he is now, I think, the 5th all-time in touchdown throws. A long way to go to catch the other guys in front of him, though. Brady, especially, I think he's got near 700. Jalen Hurts led the Eagles, effectively 2 more running touchdowns. He's in that elite category of running quarterbacks. The Green Bay Packers had a brilliant start. Micah Parsons had a sack, but the Packers looked really strong. So we'll see what games Rick watched over the weekend and what he thinks about the baseball races as they wind down. After the show at around 6:45, stay tuned because we're going to have in its entirety Redland versus the Gettysburg Warriors from Warrior Stadium. And I was impressed because we do that game live. And then if you want to watch it at midnight that night or the next day, at some point the next day, you can access the game of the week. So we used to, when we first started doing this over 35 years ago, we taped the games on the big VHS recordings, and we said 72-hour delay. Well, there's no delay. Not only that, but you can watch it again, or if you played in the game. I guess that's why we have so many hits on these player of the game. So anyway, player of the game last week, Redlands, Quinlan Shear. I didn't have time to interview him. We hope to get that. I've been amazed at the power of social media. Just those 2 segments we did on the players of the game for New Oxford and Gettysburg total over 20,000 views. Now, granted, it's only a minute, and maybe it's 10,000 people or 2 guys doing it 10,000 times each. I don't think so. But it just shows the power of social media. I'm a believer. So anyway, I'm going to try to, I told him 6:10. I'm going to try to queue up Rick Goslin's number. Trivia will be here, or trivia will be on at 7 o'clock tonight. Oh, and by the way, we are going to cover New Oxford hosting Dover on Friday night. Corey and I will be there live, so don't forget it. Okay, here we go. Rick Goslin. The team history forgot, the 1960s Kansas City Chiefs. The team that history forgot, published by the Nebraska Press. Rick Goslin, the author. It's coming out, I think he said, in November. I'm going to call him right now.
Hello?
Rick,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Cook, how are you?
Spectacular. How about you?
Good. Where are you now?
In Dallas.
Dallas. Okay, I've been given a little mini bio before I called you, so thank you so much. This is Sports Chat. We just tonight is our 900th episode, so we've been on for a long time, and yeah, so we're honored to have you as the guest. Corey Smith, my usual sidekick, had to go cover a township municipal meeting tonight, so I'm here by myself. So anyway, I saw, thanks so much for sending, I already plugged your book, the team that history forgot about, the 1960s Kansas City Chiefs, right, coming out in November.
Yes, sir.
And I just, we're approximately the same age. I'm showing off a little bit here, but I'm giving you 3 names and see if they are in the book anywhere, okay? Len Dawson, Willie Lanier, Buck Buchanan.
They're all over the book.
They're all over the book? Okay, now how many Hall of Famers from that era?
7, 8.
8, oh, wow.
The quarterback on offense, the kicker.
Jan Stenerud, right? Jan Stenerud from Norway?
Montana State.
Okay, but he was a soccer-style European guy, right?
He was basically the second one after Pete Gokolak at the Giants.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, I'm sorry, yeah, go ahead. I'm just going to listen. Tell us about the Hall of Famers, tell us about the book, whatever you want to share. Thank you.
Okay, I covered the Chiefs before I got to Dallas from 77 to 89. And when I covered them, they were terrible. They went to one playoff game in the 13 years. But during that stretch, I got to know Lamar Hunt, Len Dawson, Otis Taylor, Buck Buchanan, Willie Lanier, Jan Stenerud, Johnny Robinson. I got to know all those guys. And I was always intrigued by Super Bowl I. And I talked to all those guys about Super Bowl I. And I held on to the notes. I thought, if this be a good book if I ever decide to write one. And I held on to all those quotes, some of the tapes and transcriptions. And finally, about 3 years ago, I sat down, pulled all the stuff out, and wrote them. Most of the people that I quote in the book are dead now.
Yeah.
Lamar Hunt, Len Dawson, Hank Stram. But
The owner, the
pretty good
coach,
book.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And what I did is over the years, I also talked to a lot of the Packers that were involved in that game. Jerry Kramer and Jim Taylor, Dave Robinson, Willie Wood, Willie Davis.
Max McGee.
Max McGee.
And isn't there really a human interest story about him imbibing or something the night before?
Yeah, he didn't expect to play. No one expected him to play. He didn't exactly hit curfew. He got in like 5 in the morning.
Oh, my.
And then Boyd Dowler got hurt in the very first series, so McGee had to go in.
Yeah.
And he had the greatest day of his life.
Well,
And
he was a
ironically-
wide receiver? Or
He was a wide receiver.
okay. I always thought, I had this.
He had been a Pro Bowl receiver back in the late 50s and early 60s.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
those days were long past. As a matter of fact, he only caught one more pass after that Super Bowl in his career.
Wow.
He was done.
Yeah.
But I did the whole story. 3/4 of the book are leading up to that particular game, the Super Bowl I. I talked the Packer perspective.
Yeah.
I talked about how the Chiefs got there. And then the last quarter of the book is the 3-game revenge tour. The Chiefs were embarrassed during the Super Bowl. They lost 35-10. They had a chance to take the lead early in the third quarter, but Len Dawson threw an interception. They ran it back to the like 2 or 3. They scored, and the game turned in a row. So the Chiefs were embarrassed. And all the stuff they read was that, that this is a Mickey Mouse league. They can't compete with the Packers. They can't compete with the NFL. So all that was bottling up in them. So the next summer, because of the merger, they had NFL teams scheduling AFL teams for the preseason. And the first NFL team they saw after that Super Bowl was the Chicago Bears in Kansas City. And Lombardi had made mention that the Chiefs couldn't play with the best teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
So the Bears went to Kansas City thinking it was an exhibition game.
Right.
Not
Sure.
the Chiefs. Hank Stram, this was mid-season form.
Yeah.
So game 1 of the revenge tour, they beat the Bears 66-24. And the
Wow.
reason the score was that low is because they missed a 2-point conversion in the final minute.
Oh, my.
So they wanted to run it up, and they did.
In a preseason game. Now you have so many $1 million tied up, you couldn't even imagine that, right?
But back then, teams played their starters for 3 quarters.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, you don't see a starter on the field, but back then they played starters for 3 quarters. They played the games to win. Lombardi actually had a higher winning percentage in the preseason than he did in the regular season. And he won 70% of his games in the regular season.
Yeah. That's.
So
Hey,
the second,
go ahead. Yeah.
the second game of the revenge tour was Super Bowl IV against the Vikings.
Okay.
They were a 2-touchdown underdog, but They had played the Vikings in a preseason game the previous season in Minnesota, and they beat them, I think, 13-7. And they realized then we are bigger, stronger, faster, younger, and deeper than the Vikings.
Yeah, yeah,
They knew they were going to win Super Bowl IV. No one else did,
yeah,
but they did.
yeah,
In the last game of their revenge tour, the Chiefs started out in Dallas as the Dallas Texans in 1960. For 3 years, they went head-to-head with the Dallas Cowboys.
yeah,
Neither one could draw flies. They
Okay.
weren't drawing 20,000.
yeah,
The Texans, however, won the AFL title in 1962.
yeah,
But Lamar Hunt said, we can't make it here. So he moved his championship team to Kansas City. Now, he built the Texans to be a Southwest Conference team. All the players, most of the players were from Texas, Texas A&M, TCU.
Yeah.
They were all Texans. He wanted that Texas identity. So they moved to Kansas City. They lose that Texas identity. All the while, the players of the Chiefs, Dawson and Johnny Robinson and all the stars wanted to play the Cowboys. Let's play Cowboys, winner, stay, loser, leaves town. That was never going to happen.
yeah,
So they finally got a chance to play the Cowboys in the 1970 preseason. The Chiefs still had like 6 starters left from 62. And the Cowboys had 4, including Bob Lilly. The game was played in the Cotton Bowl before 80,000 people. Biggest crowd that the two teams had ever seen. It was the only time in Cowboys history they were shut out at the Cotton Bowl.
wow,
Preseason, regular season, postseason, they lost 13-0.
yeah,
So that's just the story. But yeah, it's a lot of good tales. Willie Lanier, I got separate chapters on Lanier and Jan Stetter, Len Dawson, Otis Taylor, Johnny Robinson. It was a fun book to write.
Oh, yeah, like you said, you kept those notes, how precious they turned out to be for
Exactly.
you. Yeah, let's go bring things up to date with the Cowboys. What's the current mood in Dallas? And I put Jerry Jones as one of the people, and we do a hottest seat in sports, shining star thing, and so I put Jerry Jones in the hot seat because, I mean, it's a rare thing where the owner is also the GM, and then he trades away Micah Parsons, who has a huge following here in central Pennsylvania. What's your take on
Right.
that?
Well, he may be in the hot seat, but it's not going to be hot enough. He's not going anywhere.
Well, he owns a team, right? So,
Yeah, he's going to stay on as a general manager, and nothing's going to really change.
yeah,
The problem, he got into a little contract split with Parsons.
yeah,
And he had a trouble with the agent, and finally said, "Let's move on."
he didn't want to
No,
deal
I
with
think-
he didn't want to deal with Micah's agent. Well, what's the point of having an agent, right?
Right, exactly. And I think the money was comparable, but at that point, Micah just wanted out of Dallas, and his agent wanted him out of Dallas.
Right.
So
It just
now, if you watch that season opener against the Eagles,
yeah,
the Cowboys do not have a difference maker on defense.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that can make the play when you need a play to be made. If you watch the Packer-Lion game the other day, Micah Parsons made the sack in the fourth quarter that basically sealed the game for the
yeah,
Packers.
yeah.
And that's the problem with the Cowboys. They've got some good players in defense, but they don't have any great players. And it's going to be tough for them on defense. They still haven't really stopped the run.
No,
And
that
that's
was
been
kind
an
of.
issue for
Were you there for
decades.
that game?
No, watch it here.
Okay.
Watch it here.
But I have to admit, I'm a big Eagles fan, and they had that weather delay, and I fell asleep on the couch. So I guess I didn't miss too much from the way it sounds.
No, I thought getting Saquon Barkley last year was genius
Oh yeah.
on the side of the Eagles because they were asking Jalen Hurts to win games, but when they got Barkley, they said, "You don't have to win games. We got a running back who can win games.
Right.
We need to have you make plays when we need plays to be made." And I think Hurts flourished basically is a supporting cast player. Barkley was the key figure in that team.
Yeah. Right.
And I think he made Jalen Hurts. He made the offense. Barkley made everybody better.
Sure.
So I wasn't surprised to see that ESPN had him as the number one player in the league.
Well,
What a
yeah.
difference maker he was.
Oh, and I mean, because what a great offensive line they have, and and you get a chance to block for somebody like that, really brings out the best in a team.
Yeah, I saw that in Dallas. Emmett Smith. They had 4 or 5 Pro Bowlers every year on the offensive line. If Emmett Smith had gone to Cincinnati or Indianapolis or Jacksonville, he wouldn't have been the all-time leading rusher.
Right.
He benefited from having this great block, from having a Hall of Fame quarterback, a Hall of Fame wide receiver, a Pro Bowl tight end, and 4 Pro Bowl blockers on the offensive line. And that's what Barkley's got.
Yeah.
Barkley's got that offensive line. He's got weapons on the flank. You can't play the run against Eagles with those weapons on the flank.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's,
they
it was a perfect fit for the Eagles.
and the guys they lost were great. But they seem to fill the gaps pretty well too, and they've got a good connection going with the University of Georgia. So what does Carter get? Does he get a suspension? Have they announced that yet?
I think they've got to suspend him. I think, yeah. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. You can't
Spit
you
right
can't
in somebody's
spit.
face, right in front of
You
the
can't
national
spit in
TV.
somebody's face.
Yeah.
Exactly. And with the referee standing there.
Yeah. He
No,
was
it's
what,
just-
5 feet
I
away?
think-
Or, yeah.
They got, and you saw in college football last week, a Florida player
Yeah.
spit on a player. You got to make a statement, and they're going to make the statement. I'll be with Carter. They're going to say, if you spit, you're going to sit,
Right. Yeah.
and then that should slow
And that's
down.
millions of dollars. I mean, so if you get
Exactly.
40 million for 17 games, that's like over 2 million a game.
Yeah, you talking about what these guys make in salaries.
Yeah.
You could find them 20,000. That's nothing. That's nothing. They get that in just merchandising.
Right.
So
Right.
you got to make a statement. It's got for something like that. I think you've got to suspend him.
Yeah, okay. So how many games did you watch over the weekend, or do you do red zone and kind of watch them all? How do you approach it?
No, I watched. I kind of move around. I watched a lot of college ball on Saturday. Then I watched some of the Detroit games, some of of course, the Thursday and Friday night games.
Yeah.
Watched the
What-
Buffalo game. Watched some of the game last night. It's rare that I sit through
Sure.
a full 60-minute game because I spent 50 years sitting through 50-minute games.
Yeah,
60-minute games. So,
exactly. And
so
that's
I kinda,
just-
I kinda get.
Sometimes
I
it goes
kinda
on for
get,
2 or 3 hours, right? What's the longest game you ever sat through in real time?
Oh wow, I've seen some overtime games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, that Buffalo game was worth watching to the end.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about, because they were down, 15 with 4 minutes left?
Incredible.
Yeah.
3:56 left. They're down by 15. How do you lose that game?
Yeah.
How do you lose that game?
I don't, yeah, I mean, the Ravens seem.
Baltimore's a good team. They're a
Sure.
good team.
They're snake bitten. I don't know. Is it that Lamar? I mean, does he? Even though he's been the league MVP, does he have a rep for being, not quite there and not enough to get a Super Bowl, to get a ring?
See, I still think people are more afraid of his legs than his arm.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue. To win a championship, you've got to be able to throw the football.
Right.
And that's why you got to like what's going on in Buffalo with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
can run.
But
He threw 396 yards the other night. He threw for 250 yards in the fourth quarter alone.
I saw that.
He can
That's
beat you with the arm and the leg.
yeah. So
I really like Buffalo right now with this in this season.
yeah. Okay. So, what about did you watch the Chiefs Chargers Friday night from Brazil?
Yeah, well, some of it.
Yeah.
Some of it. Now,
So,
the Chiefs, they got the Eagles coming up this week.
Yeah.
They cannot afford to lose. You
Right.
don't start 0-2.
Right.
Very few teams start 0-2. This is a must game for them. And I think another week or two down the road, they got Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got that schedule. They really couldn't have lost the Charger game. They did. Now they can't lose the Eagles game. It's going to be interesting because I think the Eagles are the better team right now. But
Yeah,
they're
well,
playing
they
against-
certainly showed that in the Super Bowl. What was this Kelsey getting slapped incident? I didn't really see that or read too much about it. What happened there?
Which one was that?
What,
I'm not aware of that.
Kelsey got somebody slapped him or something, and then bad mouthed Taylor Swift. I don't know. Maybe it was fake news. Anyway,
No, I didn't hear about that. I did see where Kelsey ran into that's their speed receiver, Xavier Worthy, and he's out.
really?
I mean, he was the one guy that really stretched the defense, and he's out now. He's got a separated shoulder. And
My.
that was just like a busted route. They in a crossing pad, and the two guys collided.
Who's the backup for the Chiefs? The backup quarterback?
Quarterback?
Yeah. I know it used to
If they
be.
if they go to the backup quarterback, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right, okay. Hey, I just,
Carson Wentz was there last year.
yeah, that's
now
what I
he's
thought
one.
so. Of course, you know, we know about him in Eagles land, and then Hurts.
Right.
I mean, what a great story. Second round pick out of Alabama, benched at halftime, and Tua wins the national championship game. But I mean, he's a quality, he's got a lot of character, and I think that really, he's a real team leader for the Eagles. Quietly, a quiet leader.
And to the Eagles' credit, they built an offense that features his skills, which is what Baltimore did with Lamar Jackson. Lamar
Right.
Jackson slides at the end of the first round. People say, well, he's not an NFL quarterback.
Yeah,
And John Harbaugh says, we'll build the offense around him.
yeah,
And I think
exactly.
a large part the Eagles have done that with Jalen Hurts. They are featuring what he does best with his legs. And then, of course, that push.
Yeah. Wait, I
Stop
mean,
that.
why did people want to get rid of it? I think it's great theater, but
Why? Because you can't stop it.
I
why.
know.
I
Well,
was surprised it got voted through.
well, yeah, I know, but not by much. But the Commanders, I mean, there's something in rugby called a penalty try, where somebody commits a violation, and for the violation they would have scored, and the refs were ready to award the Eagles that because on the tush push, they kept jumping over the pile. They did it 3 times in a row or something. So,
Yeah.
well, listen, I just got a text from Corey Smith. Maybe he's watching while he's covering the township meeting.
Yeah, why aren't we on Zoom?
Yeah, well, we can be whenever we want to. Any Tuesday. So you're an hour behind us, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, he says Jalen Carter fined $57,222 by NFL for spitting on Dak Prescott. Will not receive additional suspension.
That surprises me.
Well, I guess they said since he was suspended for the first game, he already served it, but that doesn't really. Yeah, I agree with you. That's.
That's good.
I'm a lawyer, so additional suspension implies that he already had some suspension. So the wording is kind of suspicious, but yeah. Anyway, that was.
$57,000 is nothing. That's
Yeah, I
nothing
know.
to
I mean, I
business.
wonder how they like a portion of his salary, or obviously a small percentage. So, what about what other sports have you covered over your career? And I want to, give you some plaudits because we actually met at O'Rourke's, and I already divulged that. And you've been honored. You are in the Football Hall of Fame in Canton. So tell us about that.
No, I've covered everything. When I was in Kansas City, I covered the Royals for 7 years, from 77 to 85. So I covered the height of George Brett's career. I covered the World Series against the Phillies, World Series
Willie
against
Wilson against Tug
Willie
McGraw.
Exactly.
I know
covered
exactly where I
that.
was. Yeah.
George Brett's hemorrhoids, remember those?
Yeah. We actually, the rugby parody song group, we actually had a lyric about that.
So I've covered, I used to work for UPI in Kansas City, so I covered everything. I covered the Royals, Chiefs, Kansas City Kings, NCAA, Big 8. I covered a lot of Big 8 football. Matter of fact, the reason I got hired in Dallas is because during my days covering the Big 8, I got to know Jimmy Johnson and his staff at Oklahoma State.
Wow.
Dave Wannstedt and Tony Wise and Butch Davis. So they got the job in Dallas. I became a pretty hot commodity in Dallas because I knew those guys. I walked in with great sources. So I covered a lot of the college football. I covered NAIA basketball. I saw Dennis Rodman and Jack Sikma and Scottie Pippen play for small college championships.
Wow.
I covered.
Did you see the greatness in them at that point?
No. No.
I guess they kept working after college to get better, so.
Yeah, I thought Dennis Rodman was a six center.
Yeah.
And I thought he had the worst hands I'd ever seen for a pivot. Every time they threw the ball in, he'd drop it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going, I don't get this. He's no American. Well, in the NAIA consolation game, he had 47 points and 25 rebounds. I said, now I get it. Now I get it.
Yeah. Probably a lot of dunks in there.
I covered the basketball at the Olympics in '76. Dean Smith had a team. I covered Winter Olympics in '88.
Tell me about the
I've
76
covered it.
Olympic team. Who was on that squad?
Scott May, Phil Ford, Adrian Dantley,
Okay, so
Yeah,
kind of a
Ken-
college
Ken-
players or,
Yeah, it was all college players. It was
Okay.
a college All-American team.
Okay.
No, that was kind of fun.
how'd you
So I
do?
covered
How'd we
that.
do?
We won. We
Okay.
won the gold.
Gold,
And that
all
was
right.
after 72 when the Russians won it on that controversial.
And we threw our silver medals in the lake or something like that?
Yeah, but they weren't throwing the golds away in Montreal.
No.
Great town, by the way. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I've been to Quebec, but I've heard great things about Montreal. So now I guess you need a
got it.
passport. In those days, you could probably just show your license, or maybe just walk
Okay.
across the border. I don't know.
Okay, here's my favorite. In 1971, I'm a student at Michigan State, and I'm the sports editor of the student paper.
What was the
So
name
I
of it?
applied the State News.
Okay.
I applied on a lark to cover the 1971 baseball All-Star game and got credentials. So I was at the game where Reggie Jackson hit the light tower.
Okay.
Where all those, like 7 Hall of Famers hit home runs.
Okay.
Clemente and Aaron and him. That remains one of the highlights of my career. It's actually the very first thing I did in my career in that
Wow.
particular game.
Okay, so I was a Phillies fan, and Dick Allen, he might have hit a few light towers in his career. So was this like how many feet would
I
it?
was
Did
shocked.
they tell you how many feet it was, or you just knew it was quite a clout because it hits the light tower?
There've only been like 6 or 7 people that hit the ball out of the park in Detroit.
Yeah.
And that one hit way up on the light tower. That was heading out. The longest home run ever hit was by Mantle in Tiger Stadium. He
Left
hit it
or
over
left or
center.
right-handed?
Left-handed. Hit it over right center. Landed in a lumber yard across the street from the stadium. And Jackson would have rivaled that.
Wow.
I was sitting, Merrick, I was sitting eye level on the 3rd deck. It was like taking a pebble in a slingshot and just letting it loose. That ball was rising.
Wow.
When it hit that light tower.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
you
kind of-
wonder about Mantle if he had stayed out the sauce, what kind of career he could have had. But I mean, he
Yeah,
did-
right. If you got rid of the injuries too.
yeah, exactly. Well, he
Pretty
probably.
good career as it was. Pretty good career as it was.
Oh yeah. I mean, what the switch hitting? I think the greatest power hitting switch hitter of all time, or you put Eddie Murray in that category. What do you think?
Mantle's still up there.
I agree. Of course, now you have Cal Raleigh. Have you ever seen anybody do what he's doing as someone who wears the tools of ignorance?
Well, without the tools, how about if you've forgotten McGuire and Sosa and Bonds?
Yeah.
I mean, those guys. I remember that summer where Sosa and McGuire went at it.
Oh, I do too. Yeah, I mean, his 70th. Well, I mean, his 62nd was a line drive. It was in St. Louis.
Right. Just tucked in the left field corner.
Do you know where you were when Hank Aaron broke Babe Ruth's record?
Probably in a press box somewhere, covering the Royals.
Okay, because it was the fall of 1973, I think. Because I was.
Okay, answer me this, Phillies man.
Okay.
How come it took Dick Allen so long to get in the Hall of Fame?
That's a good question. He was kind of controversial because there was bigotry in Philadelphia, and he got a reputation as being surly. But I mean, if you look at his credentials and his career with the White Sox, he checks all the boxes. I don't know if he ever played on a world championship team, but that's a good question. Could hit for average power, not great glove work, average speed, above average speed, but
He should have been in 30 years ago.
I agree.
That was inexcusable. Some of the things that have gone on.
Yeah, well,
Alan Trammell should have been in 30 years ago. He's every bit what Cal Ripken was.
yeah. Is he? He's not in yet.
He finally got in. There are a lot of the guys are cleaning up. Seniors are putting in.
Well, Jimmy Rollins. I think J-Roll's a Hall of Famer, but
Yeah.
anyway.
He may have to wait like Dick Allen, though. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Worth it. Well, except Dick Allen is deceased, so he just died a year ago or something.
Right.
He actually lived when he was a Philly. He lived in the town of Dublin, which is near where I went to high school. So he had some great quotes, like "If a horse can't eat it, I don't want to play on it." So, But yeah, and then he had a second career with the Phillies, played with Schmidt and Luzinski, and
Right.
he really added a lot of depth to that lineup. So, well, let's
Great player.
yeah talk about the Hall of Fame. I know you deflected. You don't like to talk about yourself, but I mean, obviously, the greatest honor you can have. So you've already achieved the mountaintop. So what keeps you going?
Well, I'm retired now, and I dabble. I dabble. Matter of fact, I'm working on a piece right now. I'm going to label Marcus Allen the most underappreciated and underrated running back in history.
Yeah, he was great for the Raiders and Southern Cal, right? I mean, I guess he came in the shadow of OJ, but yeah.
But when you see these lists for the top 10 running backs of all time,
Yeah.
his name is very rarely on it. It's always the runners.
Right.
But he and Walter Payton are the two most complete backs ever to play the game. And he was the first back ever to rush for 10,000 yards and have 5,000 yards receiving.
Wow.
This is a special back, and people have kind of forgotten about him. So I'm writing about him. I felt like I'm going to write about Marcus Allen. So
Yeah.
I'll come up next week. Or
Well,
so.
didn't
Just
they
like
beat
writing.
did they beat the Redskins in the Super Bowl and he had a big game?
Yeah, he had a 74-yard touchdown. You may
Yeah,
recall.
I do.
Cross country going the other way. Yeah, that broke the Redskins back.
Yeah. So
I
what do
like
you
that.
who's the team most likely to choke in MLB this year? That's a terrible way to put it, but
I'm from Detroit,
yeah.
and they've got maybe the best pitcher in baseball, or one of the two.
Oh,
best
he's
pitchers in
great.
baseball, but they don't have a 2, 3, 4, and 5 starter. I mean, they may end up with the best record in the American League, and like last year, after school, you're not sure what you're going to get from your starters.
So Flaherty shaky.
It's very shaky.
Yeah.
He's hit or miss.
Okay.
One day he's great, next day he's not. Casey Mize had a very good start in the season. He's hit or miss. And those are your top 3 pitchers. And you can't trust, after Screwball, you can't trust the other 2 guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Screwball's great. He and Skeens, the guy from Pittsburgh, they're playing at a different level than everybody else.
Are they the Cy Young winners?
I would think.
Now Skeens, what if he only ends up with 10 wins? What's the least amount of wins by a starting pitcher to win the Cy Young Award? Do you know that? I don't know that.
Well, it'd probably be a relief pitcher, I guess.
No, I mean a starting pitcher.
Yeah. Now, that would be 10. 10
Yeah.
would be light.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the only thing I could see holding him back is ERA's under 2. And you just say, well, he's the best pitcher in the league. He just happens to play for a team that doesn't give him much run support, et cetera.
Yeah.
So,
But I've got the MLB package, and when he's pitching, I'll tune in.
yeah.
When Screwball's pitching, I'll tune in there too. I love great pitching. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, when '85, my last year covering the Royals when they won the World Series, they had Saber Hagen and Danny Jackson and Mark Gubazov. They were a great pitching team. And what I loved about that team,
Didn't they have a submariner in the bullpen?
Dan Quisner was in the
Yeah,
bullpen.
Thank you.
Charlie Lee Brandt was the 4 starter.
Okay.
But what I loved about that team, their pitching was so good. They played games in 2 hours and 10 minutes. Remember those days?
Yeah.
Before the 3-hour game.
Oh, yeah, I do. Hey, so we don't have a script here, so I'm flying back from France, and you're trying to kill the time. I watched a movie about Jim Cott, and it was really because he was played for the Phillies, and he was kind of a left-handed. Yeah, that's where he had his great start, but finally made it to Cooperstown, and I thought he was long overdue too. So now, if you get to 200 wins, is that Hall of Fame? If you hit 400 homers, is that Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it's sadly that's the direction we're heading. I've voted on the Baseball Hall of Fame for years and years and years.
Okay.
And I always like the 300 win pitchers and the guys that hit 300.
Right.
Yeah, there was a standard.
Right.
And now, you're talking about you're putting the pitchers in who thrive to go 5 innings.
Yeah, I know.
I'm from the days where.
Sabathia, do you think is he a Hall of Famer? I mean, he is a Hall of Famer, but
Yeah. I remember I covered some Ranger games down here in Texas, and Nolan Ryan's down here, and I asked Nolan one time, what do you consider a quality start? Because now this quality starts, 6 innings and 3 runs?
three earned runs or less, right?
He said he said a quality start is when you finish what you start.
Yeah. How many complete games did he have in his career? I mean, I'm sure.
Well, here's my favorite. I mean, Bob Gibson. When you're talking the greatest pitchers of all time,
Oh yeah.
you don't have to go deeper than 2 or 3
Yeah.
to get his name out there. Bob Gibson had more complete games than he had victories.
Wow.
Think about that.
1.12 ERA or something like that one year.
Ridiculous. Yeah, in 68, he never came out of a game. The umpire, the manager never had to go to the mound.
Wow.
The only time he left the game is there was a pinch hitter in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
He basically finished what he started. But
He probably
now-
wasn't a bad hitter either, was he?
No, none of those guys were. They
Oh, I know.
all
Yeah.
they all had to hit.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
And, well, Mickey Lolich in that 68 World Series.
Yeah.
He starts 3. He pitches 3 complete games. The third game was in Game 7 and 2 games rest, and he hit a home run in one of the games.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
those guys, they those weren't automatic outs
So Denny McClain, did you ever see him pitch, or did you watch him?
all the time.
Growing up,
I was in Detroit.
Yeah, right.
Covered some games. That 68 season, he was unbelievable. 31. You'll never
Yeah.
see another 31 win season.
Well, with their 4-man rotations then in that day.
Yeah.
And like the
Yeah,
Orioles
well,
had, the Orioles
4-man.
had 4 20-game winners. I mean, you're not going to see that ever again either.
You won't see 4 20-game winners in the whole league, much less
I
one staff.
know. Yeah, you're right.
And complete games.
Well, now everybody
thinking-
throws 100. I mean, it's unbelievable, the way the velocity has gone up.
No one threw it harder to Ryan, and he had
Oh,
200 pitch games. Okay.
Yeah, and what a way to, so I guess he went as long as his body would go, and didn't he break his arm in the last game he ever pitched, something like
Yeah,
that?
he couldn't go. Yeah, he couldn't go.
But he had his
he was-
last no-hitter, he was, what, 43 or something like
Yeah.
that?
He threw
Unbelievable.
7 of them.
Unbelievable.
You won't see no hitters anymore. If you see one a year,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a lot.
Well, what, twice this week, they made it to the 9th, were they Dodger pitchers or something?
And they lost one of the games.
Yeah,
Orioles beat 'em.
yeah, the Orioles were like 2 down in the 9th, scored 5 runs or something like that. It was-
Yeah, you're down
yeah.
your last out. You're losing 3 by 3 runs, and you win the game.
Yeah. So what about the Lions against the Packers? What, were you surprised how the Packers kind of handled them?
Not really.
No.
I mean, the Packers are the hot team this year. And
Yeah.
they're adding Parsons. They're going all in this year.
Yeah, they are.
The problem I got, and I grew up watching football in the 60s and covering it in the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
80s, and 90s. And back in that era, your starters played in the preseason to get ready for the season. Like I told you, Lombardi, one year, back then, they were playing 6 preseason games and 14 regular season games. And Jerry Kramer told me one year, he and Fuzzy Thurston, the 2 guards, played every down of the preseason. They were preparing. Lombardi was preparing his team to play and to win.
Yeah.
The problem now is there's no contact in training camp.
Right,
The teams don't play their starters.
right.
These players, come September, these players are not
Game ready,
physically
yeah.
or mentally ready for the speed and the physicality of the
Hmm.
game. And I think that's what happened with Detroit. They were not ready to play that game.
Yeah,
Now I think they're a good team. I think they'll turn it around.
Yeah.
They got the Bears this week, so they should win that one. But
Yeah.
you're seeing, and also in the first 2 months of the season, first 2 weeks of the season, there are a lot more injuries than there used to be.
Right.
Because these players are not ready for the NFL. I saw where they put Kittle on IR
yeah,
today.
yeah. And the-
So it's not, it's one of those, get off my lawn things. I like the game better when you're allowed to play defense.
yeah,
They're taking defense out of the game. They're taking
Right.
special teams out of the game. All they want is offense. They want the 41-40 Buffalo
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore game. If they could have that every week, they'd love it.
well, yeah,
Defensive players. Once upon a time, a wide receiver across the middle, he had to pay the price.
sure,
Now there's no fear going across the middle. They are protecting you.
yeah,
So they have handcuffed the defense. I don't like the game now. I like to watch great defense. I love watching
Sure.
the 85 Bears. I love watching the 69 Chiefs.
Sure.
The Buccaneers, the Ravens. But that's no longer the way the game is played today. They want everything to favor the offense. And I don't think it's made the game any better. I think it's made the game worse.
Yeah. Well, now Goodell talks about the gentlemanly behavior. This is not golf. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the game evolves. But listen, we're about out of time, so I can't thank you enough. It's been great. Rick Goslin, a chance to chat with you. And so I'll text you. I mean, if you want to, whenever you want to come back on, whenever works, we'll try to Zoom next time. And
Sure.
maybe you can hold up a copy of your book or something like that, or whatever, your book's coming out in November, right?
Comes out in November. Maybe I'll be back in October in Gettysburg to visit.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. All right, well, listen, thank you so much.
I can be live and in the studio.
Exactly. You can come in here. It would be great. We'd love to have you.
Wait.
It's New Oxford's 10 miles from Gettysburg, so
We can tape from O'Rourke's.
there you go, remotely. I'm sure I could finesse it, so what a great idea. I'll see what I can do, like the Man Show where they had mugs full of beer. So,
Just a couple couches.
yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see what we can do. All right, well, listen, Rick, we're getting ready for trivia, so anytime you want to call in the show, we always encourage calls. It's community media. You can get it on communitymedia.net. And just watch live. You'll see an icon you can click on, or the trivia you can play along. It only takes 25 minutes, 25 multiple choice questions, and you can go to our website, and anybody else is welcome to join us. So thank you again, Rick. I
Okay,
appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
sir. Thank you. Take care. Godspeed. Rick Goslin. Wow. We filled the whole time. I guess Rick and I could have kept going for a couple hours. He's had a tremendously fascinating affiliation with the world of sports as a writer, and now has a book coming. I think he's probably had more than one book, but he's kind of a very humble guy. So hopefully we'll get to talk to him again. Great insights. Loves hearing about the NFL, the defense handcuff, Bob Gibson, his stats, and so forth. Anyway, I have a lot to bring Corey up to date on, and we missed a couple calls, so stay with us. Next week we'll be back next Tuesday and every Tuesday. Special thanks to Jordan and Sean, as always, the men behind the curtain. I'm Jeff Cook. See you then, sports fans. Good night. Mahalo.